Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Good Morning Brownsville. My name is Frankie. This is Roman. The district is putting up these wooden signs at the schools. It has bond information. I was told it was going to have a sign to vote yes to the bond. I wonder how much money is going into all these signs. The district cannot spend money on voting for a bond. It has to come from interest groups. I thought campaign pamphlets aren't allowed on school grounds. Isn't this going to be a campaign pamphlet? If that's what they're using it for, it is Tuesday, September 23rd, 9:09 a.m. Roman, good morning. How are you doing today? Okay, Roman. I believe Roman is frozen. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. religiously. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube page titled Frankie Olivo TV. How's everybody doing today? Uh, I had a great start to my week. Yesterday, I had a busy day. I was up and down, and it seems as if these next few weeks will be even more busy. I'm always thankful to God that there is work. I have to take advantage of the opportunities. There is going to come a time where work's going to dry up. That's just the way life is, right? We have to take advantage of each and every opportunity. We never know when they might dry up. Roman, good morning. How's your day
Good.
going so far?
Horrible. Apparently my internet's horrible today, and for some reason my hair is being stupid today. And um, I had a great night. From last night, it was a great event at UTRGV. It's weird saying UTRGV for me, being that I was at UTB, but it was great. We'll talk about that later. For some reason, I have this stupid hair that doesn't want to go down. So other than that, it's great. But yeah, I apologize for the internet. I don't know what happened here.
I wanted to look into because on X, people ask me, hey, where do you get your information? Where do you? I prefer X. To me, Facebook has lately become more of like a meme thing. It's not really. Yes, there is news, but many people, use Facebook more to joke around and stuff like that. I saw Roman on X that Starlink, that if they haven't already, in the very near future, we're going to be able to use Starlink internet in our homes. I've heard of individuals with Teslas driving and having the Starlink in their vehicle. Have you heard anything about that? About, I guess, consumer use of Starlink?
Yeah, I think I saw it on your page at some point, right? I think you posted something about Starlink going mobile and whatnot, having a phone with Starlink.
Yeah, yeah. There is this idea that SpaceX Starlink is going to be competing with other major phone companies that control the satellites in space. And I think, and I read an interesting article that Elon Musk, he does a great way of creating his own path. And what he's doing is he is now inventing a whole new network, which is separate and apart from what Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, what they have. Which this, according to tech insiders, that this is going to revolutionize the game
Mhm.
in regards to our cell phones. So I will be looking into that, Roman. Lately, I haven't had complaints with Time Warner. I'm always hooked up to the landline. It makes it faster. But they say that Starlink is one of the fastest out there. So that's something that I want to look into. And I think that I saw that the price was comparable. It was nothing, nothing out of the ordinary, so to speak.
Good morning. Buenos dias, chat.
um, our friend Roman is having issues. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to talk about the very interesting topic that has been arising as of late. As we all know, the school district currently is in campaign mode, so to speak. They have been preaching and advocating for a bond. Many people, ladies and gentlemen, many people have been very critical of this bond. Our page being one of them. And one thing that I do want to state is our platform. We want to focus on providing you with the whole information. We spoke last week, a few weeks ago, about how there is this idea that if this bond doesn't pass, things are going to get very ugly in the very near future. My job isn't to fear monger. Oh, Frankie, you're just, you just post things for likes. You just post things to sensualize them. No, by no means. I would expect that you as a viewer, you as a community member, well, you want to know firsthand about what is going on. Many times we have people, politicians, bloggers, who their sole focus is to make sure that they are biased and they want to present their agendas. We want to avoid that. Um, we pride ourselves on making sure that everything that is going on, you know about it. Think of us like, I don't know, that fine print at the very bottom, where that fine print at the very bottom, to where if you don't read that fine print, you could potentially, be upset in the long run and say, hey, I wasn't aware of this. And this is something that here at Good Morning Brownsville, we want to provide to you an unbiased platform. We want you to know the XYZ of whatever subject matter. And
Mhm.
as of late, Roman, the board, the superintendent, they, in my opinion, have not been truthful with the community in regards to this bond. Many
Mm.
people are have been laughing at me, have been questioning me and saying, why do you keep on talking about this $1 billion bond? And I say, well, after 30 years of this bond, there is going to be interest, and that the interest is going to outnumber, be more expensive than the 150, $160 million bond that the
460.
board, I'm sorry, $460 million bond that this board is asking of us. So essentially, a smart businessman, or just any person, wouldn't, in my opinion, do this. Why? Because it's not the right thing to do. So today, Roman, I wanted to talk about is this illegal? We've been seeing and we've been getting community members. Yesterday, we drove out to Egley Elementary. That's the picture on the far right. We've been seeing these signs. They're going to put signs, information. What's going to be put on there? And today, Roman, I wanted to talk to you and pick your brain in regards to, is this even legal, Roman?
Well, before we go into that, there was something you said earlier, the $1 billion bond. There was a news story that came out last week on Valley Central where where the Channel 4/23 was interviewing the superintendent at Egley Elementary, and he said that he was hoping that the school district would then have another bond in 8 years. And I was kind of taken aback by that because you're already doing a $460 million bond plus whatever interest is paying off. And now you're saying in 8 years, we're going to do another bond. And that he believes that we should be doing more bonds more successively or more consecutively. And it's interesting considering that the school district is arguing that, no, it's not going to be $460 million all at once. It's going to be several different bonds over like the course of 3, 4, or 5 years. Well, if you're doing, you're going to do a bond, one small partial bond over 5 years. Well, and then after those 5 years, 3 years later, you're going to start another bond. You're going to ask for more money. It's like, can't you live within your means? And it's very frustrating to me to hear that that's what the superintendent is recommending. And he says, we haven't gone, and in the same article, he says, we haven't had a bond at BISD for 18 years. And the reason I say all these things, I don't think that's necessarily true that we haven't had a bond. I mean, didn't we have that big old issue with the fact that we didn't have the
TRE.
the TRE? It's kind of sort of a bond. I mean, he makes it seem like they haven't gone to taxpayers and asking them for more money. I mean, they also went with this VATRI thing just not even 2 years ago, which is the voter approved tax rate election, which was the taxpayers approving a tax rate an increase, even though you had people, so-called experts like, or the school district experts that Daniela Lopez Valdez was supposedly leaning on, so she could go out there and mislead the public and say, no, it's not a tax increase. We're not increasing your taxes, even though the fact that it was you went to an election to get an approval from us, the taxpayers, whether or not to increase our taxes. You wouldn't have to go to us if it wasn't already a tax increase. It was. And that's what you were asking for. So that is what the school district has done. We've had the VATRI. We've had the TRE, a few years ago, maybe 8 years ago. Now we're having this $460 million bond. And now you have the superintendent saying in 8 years, we're going to do another bond. And he literally says this. And so if anybody goes out there, oh, you're misleading the public, Roman, you're not telling the truth. You're disinformation. Don't listen to Roman. Don't listen to Frankie. I mean, these are his own freaking words. These are my words. These are his. And it's mainstream media. And so the reason I bring this up is because I think it goes along the lines of what you're arguing about these signs that are going to go on campuses. And it goes along the lines of what the Brownsville Herald reported, which was that you had the PIO and you had the finance director going to Canales Elementary and speaking to staff and faculty. And I, as a taxpayer, and I think you as a taxpayer, Frankie, I think every voter and every taxpayer should want to know whether or not the school district with these administrators from the Glass Palace going to different schools and speaking to faculty and staff. Again, these are not my words. These are the words of Gary Long from the Brownsville Herald. And if you don't believe me, go read it. I mean, if you still read the Brownsville Herald, he says they were speaking to staff and faculty. So I want to know, are you taking staff and faculty out of the classroom in order to teach them this propaganda about your tax increase and your bond for $460 million? Are you doing that? Or are you making them stay after school or come home early in order to listen to your propaganda because you want them to go out there and mislead people? And I say mislead people because you're misleading them in terms of how much this bond is actually going to cost. And I think this $1 billion with a B, billion dollars that Frankie is talking about, it's fairly accurate. And nobody can really say it's not accurate. I mean, it was on Juan Montoya's crappy ass blog, wasn't it? I mean, these are not Frankie's words. This is not Frankie's data. This is Juan Montoya's data. And don't tell me that you all don't talk to those bloggers. Don't tell me you don't, because you do. I know you do. I know you all talk to them. In fact, I know one blogger, and I'm not going to say who it is. One blogger was telling people, don't listen to Frankie. No one listens to him. Don't pay attention to him. And I know that happened. I know that happened. So it is what it is. Sorry. Are you? I just went on the little rant.
Interesting. Interesting take, Roman. Hey, Juan, for the record, that was Roman who said that about your blog. I think very highly of you, Juan.
Me vale, Juan.
I'll love Juan. Hey, and that's because I've been a part of a few hit pieces on Montoya's page. Anyways, going back to everything that you said, Roman. It's funny. It's funny that we are criticized for being not providing factual information, and you make an interesting point. I'm going to post the news article on here because it's very interesting, and that's something that many people aren't aware of. That this superintendent did state that there is this idea that if this bond passes, we're going to need another bond in 8 to 10 years. Whoa. So you mean to tell me that this $450-60 million bond that after 30 years is going to value $1 billion is not going to be enough? We're still going to need more? Really? He's been coming out on podcasts, Roman. He came out on Captain Bob. He came out on Tino Villarreal, Commissioner Villarreal's podcast. And in those podcasts, I didn't listen to them, but I doubt, Roman, I doubt this was stated. Why? They're scared. They're scared of informing the public and giving them the full information. That is my problem with these peoples, with these leaders. Essentially, what they're doing is they're lying to the community by not giving factual information. By them not giving us the whole enchilada, essentially, they're lying to us. That is my problem. Who in the right mind, Roman, would vote for a bond to increase their own taxes and then in 8 to 10 years say, oh, we need more? What? Are you serious? Really? And look, I just posted on the page. You could find it on YouTube, and you could find it on Facebook. Click on the link. In this link, previously we spoke about, Roman, about the schools closing. According to sources, there were 11 schools that were going to be closing in the very near future. We were criticized and said, oh, he does not know what he's talking about. Again, our sources have not failed us, and we're very thankful for that they're very truthful with us. They want the community to know, hey, this is coming. Brace yourselves. Out of those 11, I was given 6 names of schools. One of them was Eggley Elementary. The superintendent did this Valley 4, Channel 4 news story at Eggley. And he goes and shows the campus and said, look, the roof, this needs a lot of repair. There's damages. We desperately need this bond. It is said, Roman, that $17 million is needed for Eggley. Let's round it off.
Is that under data, Frankie, the $17 million? Or
that is their data. I'm not using mine. According to the Valley Central story, Eggley in particular needs $17 million, $17.6 million. Let's round it off to a fat even number. Let's say $20 million.
The reason I'm asking you, Frankie, is because if this is his data, is that what is presented on the chart that they presented to the school district, that workshop information where you had all the millions of dollars and where the money was going to? Because I don't think it was, because I think the most amount was $9 million to, at least in elementary, was $9 million to Cromac Castañeda. They weren't talking about $17 million for Eggley, but then again, I could be wrong because you only had one slide. And I don't know, we've looked at all the slides that they have to say how much money is going in. What was that $17 million on their website, on their fine print? Or is this $17 million just coming out of thin air that the superintendent's talking about and telling the Valley Central? I'm just wondering. I'm on this honest question. I don't know. I do not know the answer.
So again, who's providing false information? Why isn't this information on that pamphlet? And I do apologize to my community for not having that information, but BISD is having issues with their YouTube page where we can't go back and retrieve this presentation, this PowerPoint presentation that was presented to the board.
But you know what? Is it possible? Is it possible it's on the BISD website on that little election page thing so we can look at it together? I mean, this is a podcast. I think that we're going to talk about different things, but we will talk about the sign stuff. And I do want to get to that. I know that's what Frankie wants to talk about, but there's little things that we want to talk about this information because some of y'all just watch for a little while and then you leave. And I want to make sure that people realize it's not Frankie, it's not Roman that's providing misinformation. We just use the information that is out there, whether it's on Valley Central, KRGV. I mean, Frankie has his own sources, so I can't vouch for those sources. But when it comes to numbers and things like that, I think we do try our best to look at information out there.
In regards to this number of 17.5, let's round it off to 20, because as we know, construction, Roman, things get inflated at the 11th hour. Oh no, it's not going to be $10. It's going to be $13, $15, $20. That happens with construction all the time. My issue with that, Roman, is, do you know how much it costs Los Fresnos CISD to build a middle school off of, 511 going towards Olmito? In 2000, 2001, it cost them $75 million. Due to inflation, I would dare guesstimate that today it would possibly cost $100 million. So you mean to tell me that we're going to spend 20%, 25% of what it would cost to build a brand new school? Really? To me, it doesn't make sense. It really
Okay.
doesn't. Why? Who in their right mind would spend that money? It would be wise, Roman, to close that school. It is apparent that this school district has not done a great job of managing what they have. So they want to throw money at something. I hate to use this language, but that's dead. That's dying. I understand that there's a lot of sentiment in regards to these schools, but at the rate that this school district is going, there's no way. They're losing kids at a very rapid pace. There's no way that we can continue with this. And again, we're going to need another bond in 8 to 10 years. Is
Okay.
that on the pamphlet? Is it?
All right. So the BIC website has listed for the EGLI information a 15.7, well, rounding up, $15.8 million is what the BIC website is claiming that they're going to spend on EGLI. 15.8 million, $15.8 million. And that includes spending money on HVAC upgrades, including 59 rooftops units, 21 split units, and control systems, roof replacement covering 81,000 square feet, complete parking lot replacement with drainage upgrades, replace 600 fiberglass windows, repair and replace canopies throughout the campus, fire alarm panel upgrade, install access control systems on exteriors and doors. And, you know, this is what troubles me is that you're spending 15.6, what is it? I want to make sure I not misinformation. $15.8 million. Frankie, you're saying $17 million, and you got that information from a reliable source, I'm assuming, for $17 million. So I'm going to only go by what BIC is claiming on their website. But $15.8 million is almost the amount of money that the school district received from the city of Brownsville to buy Cummings Elementary.
Exactly.
They literally got $16 million from the city of Brownsville to buy one of their properties, and they want to spend $15.8 million. Frankie's going to say $17 million, whichever number you want to get. That's pretty much the same amount of money we got for Cummings, and that's what they want to do just to repair the school. I mean, are you stupid? I get the school's been there for freaking ever, but at some point, cut your losses. I mean, why are you spending $16 million, or Frankie says $17 million to repair EGLI? That's ridiculous. It's dumb. That's not smart.
It doesn't make sense, Roman. And I'm glad you brought it up in regards to the new bond. Is the community aware that this is going to happen? Are the board members relaying this information to the community? I doubt it. Have we heard them post about it? Why don't post about what Dr. Chavez stated? That in 8 to 10 years, they're gonna need another bond. Why? You mean to tell me that with $500 million is not sufficient? You're gonna need more money after that?
Do they not get warranty on this stuff that they're going to be repairing? I mean, are they going to, like, why would you have to go in 8 years to repair some of this stuff? I mean, when you do in a roof, you get a roof that's going to last you 20 years. I mean, are you going to have crappy people who are going to build this stuff that's only going to last 8 years? You're going to have to repair the roofs again. Or you're going to try to repair other things I mean, there is something called maintenance and operation, right? You have to maintain the schools. Are you telling me, Dr. Chavez and BIC, are you telling me you're not going to be able to maintain the school, that you're going to need another millions and millions of dollars of bond? Come on. That's ridiculous. Live within your means. I mean, I'm sorry, $15.8 million or $17 million, as Frankie is saying, for a freaking middle school, for an elementary school. It's insane. I mean, It's been getting worse with every superintendent. What do you mean? Do you mean it's been getting worse with the mismanagement, or are you saying that there? I mean, because I think there has been mismanagement by the school district. Whether the board or the superintendent or a combination of both, they're not repairing as they go along. They're not doing the proper maintenance things. I mean, we've discussed this before. I'll say it again. You had school boards and school superintendents who were more interested in building new schools as opposed to maintaining the schools that are inside the city. And that has been to the detriment of those schools inside the interior, because they want to build these new schools. Whether they want to build new schools, I don't know that they want to build them because they were, their friends were vendors and contractors and things like that. That's why they were building new schools, or they wanted to build new schools for other reasons to get names on there. Maybe they wanted a new plaque. You go to a building and at the cornerstone, there's a plaque and say, oh, this building was funded by these people. Do they want that to be there forever? That's I don't know. I really don't know. But I think it's important to note that the school district wants this amount of money. It's insane. It's ridiculous. But you know what? I disagree with you, Frankie. I think the people in Brownsville are going to vote in favor of this. I mean, they had no problems voting for that voter-approved tax rate election, that tax increase. You had the people in Port Isabel who did not vote for their own tax increase at the same time with their own VAT. But here in Brownsville, we did, because we're in Brownsville. We don't have a problem being misled. We don't have a problem with the school district going around telling you it's not a tax increase when it was. They're going to do the same thing here. They're going to go and say, the children need it. It's not going to increase your taxes. Look at the $140,000 homestead exemption. You're not going to affect you. Just do it. What? How is it really going to affect you? You're not going to pay more money. Just vote for this. It's for the children. And people are going to buy it. People are going to believe it. And they're going to be, ridiculously inept. And I say that because you have people in PI, in Port Isabel, which is considered, I guess, a rich school district. They were like, we're not going to vote for this. We're not going to vote for a tax increase. Maybe the school board and the superintendent in Port Isabel was being honest with their voters and telling them, yeah, it is a tax increase, as opposed to the people here in Brownsville who were, maybe our voters were misled. Maybe they didn't understand it was a tax increase. I really don't know. I just find it interesting that our neighbors in Port Isabel did not vote for a tax increase, but we did, because our voters did. So I mean, I disagree with you. I think voters are going to vote in favor of this. I hope you all can prove me wrong, that you all are smarter than this and not being misled and being told by people in nice little suits coming to you and telling you, oh, we need it for the children. I mean, I really hope that you're all going to be smarter than this and not vote in favor of this, because I think it's a boondoggle waiting to happen. You're spending, $15.8 million. And that's the number they're giving you now, guys. I just don't forget, Frankie, that's the number that they're saying. It's an estimate. It's an estimate. That's what the fine print said. We don't know. They may not spend the money on that project, on that school, that money, because this is an estimate. We may not have enough money from the bond, so we're not going to use the $17 million in Egley. I'm sorry, sir or ma'am, mom or dad, that they have your child there, and we promised you we're gonna fix the $60 million at Egley. We told you we were gonna do that, but you know what? We just don't have enough money, so we're not gonna do it. Didn't they pull this crap with the Performing Arts Center? Didn't the school district pull this crap on us for that? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering stuff. Maybe I don't recall everything properly, but I think that's what they did. Or worse, they moved the money and put it someplace else. Now they're going to say, no, we have it set. We're telling the voters that we're going to spend the money on this and only this. You can't tie the hands of future board members when they have that money. You really shouldn't. You really can't. And also, here's the part, the estimate part. The estimate part. We all know prices are going through the roof. We know wood and material and things are going higher, and labor costs are going higher. I mean, people are complaining that the prices of building houses are going up because President Trump is, deporting all the illegals, the illegal immigrants that are working, these jobs. And so it's, increasing the price of labor. I don't know if they'll have enough to be able to do all the things they're doing. Remember, it's an estimate. That's the fine print. And if they don't if they don't have enough money to do the project, are they going to do the project? Are they going to half-ass the project? Or are they going to increase your taxes another way? Like, you know what? We didn't actually have enough money for this project. We said we just need a little bit of more money. We have money in the rainy day fund. We have money in the savings account. We have money in the fund balance. We'll use some of the money from the fund balance to fund this project. And then you're playing catch up, trying to pay up that money, trying to increase. And what do? You increase taxes because they're telling you in the fine print it's an estimate. Oh,
Um,
Frankie.
interesting.
We never end again.
Interesting that you say that, Roman. Before I forget, and I was going to say this earlier, I got information in regards to a local politician that is going to benefit from this bond handsomely. And it's not the person you think. It's
Wait,
somebody
say it again.
we got information that a local politician will benefit if this bond passes and will benefit handsomely. It's a name that hasn't been brought up. And I've been working with my sources and they've relayed this information. I need to confirm a few things or two, and then we're going to go live. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are about 5 weeks away. Is it fair to say from early voting? Early voting. No, we're a week away. We're a month away. Early voting starts October the 20th, runs through Halloween with election day Tuesday, November the 4th. So essentially, ladies and gentlemen, we're less than a month away from early voting, where you, the citizens of Brownsville, we, the citizens of Brownsville, are able to vote on this bond of $1 billion. In the very near future, I'm thinking a week from now, possibly the week after. I have to confirm. I'm going to put out a name of a politician that's going to benefit from this BISD bond, and it's not the name we all think of. It's someone else. And when I heard about it, I was like, wow, I didn't know about this. So again, interesting players, ladies and gentlemen, interesting players are working in the backgrounds because, again, who's going to benefit from this? Consultants, engineers, lawyers, bankers, financiers, and the list goes on and on and on. So, and again, I want the community to know about this. I think they deserve to know exactly what they're getting involved with, because does the community know, Roman, that the BISD could potentially go for another bond in 8 to 10 years? I would dare say no. I would dare say that they have no idea about this, Roman.
Unless you watch Channel 423, you may not know. I didn't watch the 30-minute interview that the superintendent did with Commissioner Tino Villarreal, which I think is funny. He's trying to be a podcaster. Whatever. You'll never be as good as us, Tino. Oh, I'm just kidding. What? Oh, you're getting text messages left and right. Who's telling you off today, Frankie?
No, it's my people. They're giving me info.
All right.
Dolores, let's see what Dolores has to say. If trends continue, schools will continue to shut down in the future. Enrollment is dropping exponentially, and funding is directly tied to the enrollment and attendance. The school district salaries are top heavy. Funds need to be allocated to repair schools that are in dire need of repair. The upkeep of the campuses was left on the back burner for years. An external independent audit is needed to find funds, trim, or merge excessive highly paid positions. Can't those properties that are no longer in use be sold and those monies used for much needed repairs before asking the public to carry the load? Please look for viable solutions. Times are tough financially for the citizens of Brownsville. What's your take on Miss Dolores Garcia's comment, Roman?
I think it's fair. I don't have a problem with anything she said or wrote. I think it's important now. Well, in terms of the audit, this audit thing has been going around for a while, and they were supposed to do an audit. Nobody came forward. I mean, you had certain board members out there, using it as a political point, saying, "Oh, we needed to do this audit right before the election or a few months before the election," even though they had several months, almost a year, to come back to the board to come up with recommendation. They didn't. So there are people on the board that have dropped the ball, and they're pointing fingers at each other like the Super Spider-Man meme. And they probably do need to do some sort of an audit. What that audit would entail, I don't know. But they do um, you know yearly audits, not the forensic audit that people are talking about or people are asking about. But they do audits to make sure that money is being spent, what it's being supposedly spent on, and it gets approved every year around November or December. So we'll have I'm assuming a report from whoever the auditors are. In the past it was Carlos Gascos and Associates. I don't know if it's still them or not, but you expect it probably in November. I would before the Christmas break, what their audit says.
Erasmo Castro was criticized for this, Roman. He told me that there was already several audits that were already being conducted.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he wanted those audits to come back. He says, the scope of these audits is extensive. These audits are expensive. Are you familiar? Are you aware of audits being in the field, audits being conducted around this time? I'm talking about November, December, January.
No, I don't. I think if I remember what your Theo was telling me is that they were going to work on those audits and that, well, no, they had voted on something maybe a few months previously to him going on the board. I think Denise Garza was the one who made the motion, and I think they had it. So there is that going around, and I think that process was going through. But I don't know about the millions of dollars or how much expensive those funds are. Now that I'm remembering and really thinking about it, I think you're right. I think you're right.
That was my understanding because many people criticized him. Carlos Elizondo was one of them, and in open session, was antagonizing him. And he said, "Look, there's already an audit going around." This is what he told me. Look, there's already an audit going around. Let that come back, and then we'll see what the findings are. And because the board members, they didn't specify exactly what they wanted. They just said, "Oh, we want an audit." Well, whenever you throw the umbrella, whenever you throw the blanket, Roman, well, the scope is going to be large. They didn't specify. We want details in regards to these specific areas, these specific departments. They didn't. So whenever you do that, that's not being fiscally responsible because again, these audits are very expensive. So he said, "Look, there are audits being done. Why not wait until those audits come back and then let's see if it calmed their, their doubts. And if not, well, then bring it up to the board." But it was kind of disingenuous. Again, were people using that rhetoric for political talking points? Oh, audit, 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 audit. Okay, well, what do you want audited? What in particular are you asking about? That was what Erasmo Castro relayed to me. And he said, "Look, there are audits being done. Why not wait until these audits come back? The board members will be able to dissect this information, and maybe they had questions in regards to this. And if they don't, bring it up to the board again and then specify, I want X, Y, Z to be audited."
Well, I'm that would have been already about a year since those audits were voted on, right? Have we gotten them back yet? I'm not aware of any audits coming back. Has it been on the agenda? Have I missed it on an agenda? Have they talked about it in open session? Or have people dropped the ball? That people that were complaining on the board that wanted to audit, have they dropped the ball again and not asked questions for that? I honestly don't know. And again, I ask these questions, and if I'm going to tell you whether I know or don't know, I'm going to try to be as honest with you all as I possibly can. What's up, Abel? I as far as your question with the bond pass, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm completely wrong. I want to be wrong. Please let me be wrong. Prove me wrong, voters, and vote against this bond. And people might be upset. I know that some people are claiming that Texas schools are underfunded. We're not fully funded. Remember, we discussed this before. Not fully funded. I think schools are funded enough. It's up to the individual school districts to actually fund their campuses the way they should be, and not outgrow their influence and not outgrow their enrollment. And I think that's what the school district has done for many, many years. And the school board has to make these tough decisions, but it's really hard. I'm going to give a little bit of slack to the school board members, just a little bit, because it's really hard for these school board members to make these decisions when you go to these workshops and the school district comes into you and that we already have all this budget, but we need you to make this tough decision on, these 20 $25 million or so. You need to make the decision on those, but we already made the decision for you on these other things. Tell us, please. And then they play these stupid little games of which one do you rank higher, rank higher, rank higher. And it makes the school board members think, oh, that, they're participating. But then they have to say, oh, no, but we want everything. We want everything. Go big or go home, as Minerva Opinion likes to say. Go big or go home. And, they end up going big. And they spend way too much money out of their means, and they don't realize that they're doing it, because it's the same mentality that you get when the school district or your city, the county goes and tells you, well, we need a little bit of increase, but it's just a minor adjustment. It's just a minor increase. It's really only a cup of coffee a month. That's all you're going to be paying. Never mind the other money you've already spent on it. Just a little coffee. You can't do a little bit. It kind of reminds me of the Monty Python skit from it's not The Meaning of Life. It's the one where there's the guy that's eating at the restaurant, and he's just eating and eating and eating, and then the waiter comes and they give you just a little piece of chocolate, and John Cleese, I think it's John Cleese, who gives him the piece of chocolate, and he runs away and he hides and he eats the chocolate, and then the guy explodes. That's kind of how this reminds me of. It's like, hey, it's just a little bit of an increase, just to eat it, just to have it, just take it, and then the economy goes to crap because people don't have money to be able to pay for stuff, because people aren't thinking. I don't. It's just, maybe it's a bad analogy. I don't know. I think it's funny.
But before I ask you a question, Roman, somebody messaged me. Are you able to broadcast the BISD board meeting you referenced you cannot access on your platform, as they're broadcasting it this way? If they take theirs down, it's recorded on your platform. I think by law, Roman, they have to have this public, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they do. And in my understanding, I did ask somebody a question of this on at BISD last night, and they're telling me that they're working on merging things and fixing things. That's my understanding is what they're doing. So they should come back. They didn't lose it, and I'm going to believe the guy from KBISD where he says that we're not losing anything. We have almost 97%, 98% of it. We're not going to lose it. It's our property. We have it. We just don't have it on this YouTube for whatever reason. So,
was it taken down purposely? Was it taken down purposely right before the bond, Roman?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't want to. I try not to be a conspiratorial person, no matter what El Tucker likes to think of us, But no, if you think Roman, if you think they're funded, that's your opinion, not a fact. We funded billions of dollars for schools in Texas. The state has funded. It's in their thing. They're funded. It's not to the level that the teachers want. Nothing. They're never going to be satisfied. They're always going to want more and more and more and more and more. It's like the cats. The cats you might have outdoors or indoors or whatever. You feed them a little bit, and then 5 minutes later they forgot they ate. They want more. They're never going to stop eating until they freaking vomit or something. They don't have the mindset. So I'm not going to say I'm comparing teachers and school districts to cats who can't, but in a way they're like herding cats, right? It's like we're trying to herd cats.
The cats. Roman, you being a parent, you being a community member, in your heart of hearts, and I want this question to be answered by the community as well. Do y'all honestly think that by passing this bond of $450 million after 30 years, $1 billion, whatever, $1 billion, do y'all honestly think that is going to increase the enrollment? Honestly.
No.
Do you think that is... I don't. Students are going to leave no matter what. The pig with the lipstick is still a damn pig. We have an image problem. Look at all the stuff that I've been getting from Benavides. And again, yesterday I had a former administrator that opened up the school and says, oh, that's nothing but cheese, man, because back when I opened the school and I'm like, if you only knew, sir, if you only saw my messages, if you only heard the conversations that I have with these concerned parents. Roman, the parents have legitimate accusations, legitimate concerns, and they are not able to file police reports. They do not want to take their police report. I'm like, what? What do you mean they won't take your police report? Yes, they don't want to. What do you? So these people are stuck between a rock and a hard place. They're in a pickle, and they're saying, you know what? Fine. You don't want to address my issues? I'm going to send my kid to a charter school. The reality, ladies and gentlemen, is no matter how much money. Look, I hate to use this analogy, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm out of line, but it's like that domestic violence relationship. The man or the woman belittles the other person physically, emotionally. Oh, but here's some flowers, babe. Oh, here's a car that you wanted, babe. Oh, here's this thing. The person, in reality, they don't want the flowers. They don't want that car. It's nice, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, they want you pig, to change. They want you to treat them better. They want you to recognize that you're at fault. I'm saying the man is the pig, not the woman. I'm just for clarifications. So essentially, Roman, it all goes back to our image. We at BISD have an image problem. We don't want to admit that. Why not?
You lipstick on a man.
I put guy from chapstick. I don't think I've ever put in. Hey, there's fathers that let their baby girls paint their toenails. Mm-hmm. So,
all right.
Huh?
All right, Rocky Horror. It's okay.
Anyways, now again, yeah, I was thinking about something else. I was thinking of what's that movie, Silence of the Lambs?
Buffalo Bill.
But again,
Frankie,
Buffalo Bill. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. But again, Frankie, Roman, the school district.
Is my internet bad right now, Frankie, or is it just me?
Possibly.
Is it dragging a little bit? Let me check in and check out. Maybe that's what's going on.
It's probably the network. You're fine.
Okay.
Just
it's because like when I'm talking, when you're talking, it's like there's a real delay. I know, but there's a real delay. I can't like.
But again, I go back to. Again, roll with the punches, Roman. Roll with the punches. That's technology. We can't fix the impossible. The school district will be having, and they're doing their best to promote this bond, and there will be a state of the district, Roman, and one that I have yet to see in the. At the school district. Are you aware of that?
No, I don't think I am. All right. I think now Frankie is completely frozen. I don't know where he went to. He's frozen. Frozen in time. Hold on. All right. Do you want me to talk for a little bit, Frankie? You want to just step in and step out? Maybe it'll help. And Toker's saying it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. They don't want you to talk, Frankie. They don't want you to say anything.
Take over, Roman.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll read some of them that they're come up right below me. I'll read what a Toker is saying. What's up with the analogies? Sure. Stick to the facts. Name of these board members or superintendent. None of these board members and superintendents are going to do anything about school closures across the state. Yeah, but they can do school closures around, about them, about the school district here. Frankie had said something earlier about. Oh gosh, what was it? And I was going to say something interrupted, but he was on a roll. Or maybe it'll come back to me. let me read another comment for now. It's Frankie's turn now to. It's somewhat freezing. It is. Toker, it's a conspiracy. Patricia Hernandez says, I think they're really trying to shut you up. I think they are. I think we were going to talk about, these signs that are going to be popping up on BISC campuses, and Frankie wanted to talk about those. But we can do that in a little bit. I don't want to lose him for that. So if it's okay, I'm going to switch topics a little bit and talk about what happened last night at UT Brownsville. So those of you who want to listen about BISC, please don't leave. Wait for Frankie to come back, because there's more stuff that we need to talk about, including those signs and some of the things that his sources are telling him. And so last night there were about 200 people that went to a prayer vigil at the UT Brownsville, formerly UT Brownsville campus, the UTRGV Brownsville campus. There was so much police presence. You felt so safe. There were people. There were so many state troopers, so many police presence from the UT system, school police. They even had what appeared to be a drone flying over us. I mean, to keep an eye on everything. They had blocked off the streets. There was even a police officer or a sniper of some sort outside of keeping an eye on everything from above ground in a window. It was, and as somebody who doesn't necessarily like to go out as much as I used to, I want to thank the police presence and the law enforcement at that prayer vigil for Charlie Kirk. There was at no point in time did you feel like somebody could come in and hurt us and hurt the hundreds of people that were there to be in unison and prayer. So it was awesome. Thank you to them. I think UTRGV did a wonderful job in allowing Alexis and the chapter, the Turning Point USA chapter at UTRGV, to host this for members of the community and school people that were students. I would have liked to have seen more and more students from UTRGV there. Because it really was for them. That's what Charlie would have wanted. I think it was really cool. There were people that were like, "Hey, are you Roman from Erasmo and Frankie show?" Which is good. So I've encouraged them to please subscribe to the YouTube page, help Frankie out, especially Frankie. He really wants to get to 1,000. It's important to him, and it'll open up doors for Frankie. So if you haven't already subscribed to his YouTube page, please do that. Okay, so it was really cool. There were no politicians there, which was good, I guess, in a way, because it was about Charlie. It was about coming together and unity. But there were a lot of activists there, a lot of people from some people from Harlingen, people that watched the show. Frankie from Harlingen were there. You had just random people that have never been out. I talked to about 5 or 6 different people, little clusters of people that were there. And it was, they were like, we don't really go out. We don't really do this kind of stuff. We're not really political. We just really wanted to do this. And I thought that was really nice of them. I heard last night afterwards and from a friend who was like, hey, you ended up going to that thing. I was like, yeah, I did. And my friend was telling me, you know that Charlie really didn't die for his faith, right? You understand it, right, Roman? And I was like, yeah, he did. He totally did. You stop saying those things, but he did. He's a martyr. Like, stop. But I'm glad that we did that. So let's move on now to BSE. Now you're back, Frankie. Oh man, you look like you're on the Seinfeld show, and you look crystal clear now.
The board, ladies and gentlemen, the board is very adamant on wanting this bond to be passed, and there will be a state of the district in which Dr. Jesus Chavez will be addressing the community on Thursday, October 9th, 2 weeks before early voting. I have previously seen the city, the county, the governor, the president. I can't remember the last time, Roman, there was a state of the district. Have you?
I can't think of one. I can't remember one. It's just very interesting that they're going to do it right before an election, making sure everyone gets pumped up and talked about BISD and awesome. I'm just wondering, I mean, one of the things I think Minerva Peña has said before that, or others, maybe Carlos has said it, I don't know, that he's not the one talking. He always passes the buck and asks somebody else, oh, you talk about it, Mr. Deputy Superintendent, or you talk about it, and talks to other people so he doesn't have to answer questions. I wonder if he's going to do the same thing. He's going to let other people do the talking for him, I wonder. It's a joke. It's a joke. Obviously, he's going around the public and talking for himself. Obviously, he's going to, Tino Virial's, lowly podcast and talking about that, talking about it. Or he goes to Captain Bob's podcast. I hope he ate, though. I hope Captain Bob gave me some food. You know what? Speaking of Captain Bob, I feel like I need to go eat at Captain Bob. I haven't gone over there in a while.
Captain Bob.
Maybe he can feed us, Frankie. Maybe he can feed us, and because he's gonna probably want us to be on his podcast.
Sure, why not? I just find that this, and look, again, I want to be very clear with the community. In my opinion, this is not going to pass. The district wants to avoid closing schools. It's going to happen. There is no way that this school district is going to continue to stop the bleeding, which is the disenrollment of students. I showed again, and I'll continue to do so. We showed how in the past 10 years, since 2015, the school district has been losing, has lost 12,000, anywhere from 12,000 to 13,000 students.
Yeah,
and again,
sorry.
Go, Roman.
I'm sorry. Earlier you talked about enrollment, and I remember what it was that I wanted to ask you. Isn't the superintendent going around? You asked me, do you think enrollment's going to go up or down? Do you think people are going to come over? And I said no. And I wanted to expound on that because the superintendent himself is going around saying that it's birth rates. I mean, just because you fix these schools isn't automatically going to cause all these kids to be born. That's the thing. That's why enrollment is not necessarily going to go up. Now, they're going to argue, well, it just really isn't just about, fixing these schools so we can improve our enrollment, Roman and Frankie. It's really because we want to make sure that the environment that the students are in right now is even better. And I'm not going to be here to disagree with you on that. I'm not going to disagree with you that you want to make the school environment better for these students, but you are spending way too much money on some of these schools that, yes, I get it. You have a real big attachment to it. I mean, I had a huge attachment to Cromack Elementary where my child went to school, and I love Cromack. I did not want to see it, combined into two, into one school. But at the same time, I also understood that it made no sense to have two elementary schools side by side. Made no sense. I mean, when I moved here and I saw that, I'm like, why are they together? I thought maybe one was a middle school and one was an elementary school because remember, I'm not originally from Brownsville. When I saw that, and like, no, those are two elementary schools. Why are they side by side? Why are they just one? Have one principal, have one. So back in the day, I even I saw that. But yeah, sorry. I just want to make sure I answered your question about the enrollment.
And it's important, Roman, because you would think that, we're having new facilities, better things to offer. That's going to increase enrollment. So has there been that distinction with the board, with the super? Are they saying, hey, this bond is going to either help increase enrollment, is going to avoid the closure of schools, is going to help us keep afloat? Because according to the super, in 8 to 10 years, we're going to need another bond. So you know what we're getting at? We're just throwing money at something, at a ship that is sinking. In reality, data is what's important. If you talk to those people those traders, those people that are into the stock market, they look at trends. They look at this type of data. From 2015, BISD had 48,000 enrollment. 2026, we have 35,000. That's a loss of 13,000. We have the arrow, Roman, going down. Come across 2015, the teachers. Look, all the teachers, there was 3,333. That's a loss of 2,000 in 10 years. So I don't know how they're going to pitch this. I really, really don't. In reality, this does not look good. So I want the superintendent to address this issue. What is this bond going to bring, Roman? What is this bond going to accomplish?
He's going to probably try to scare everybody until if this bond doesn't pass, we're going to have to go to schools, and all those teachers that we told that we're going to save their jobs are not going to lose their job. They're going to lose their job. That is what he's going to do. Because I mean, if he wants to be honest with people, and that's the honest truth. If this bond does not pass, people are going to have to be fired. People are going to lose their job. They are, and they're gonna they're gonna try to scare you into doing it, and that might be a reason for you to vote for this, because you don't want staffers to lose their job. You don't want, administrators to lose their job, or you don't want teachers to lose their job, because these schools are going to have to close because enrollment is going down and they can't maintain these schools. I get that. I totally do. But you all weren't crying when you see that fact, that chart that Frankie is putting in. It's not his chart. It's BISD's own chart. It's showing, right? You're claiming that there were 3,000. I can't read it. It might want to like go in a little bit more, because for some reason it's kind of grainy. But how many teachers do we have right now, and how many teachers do we have before? You said, you go more to the right side of it. Yeah. You had as many as, what's the highest number of teachers we had at the school district full time? It was what, 3,333. And that
that's
was
why yeah, and that's why I'm basing myself off a decade.
a decade.
2015.
And how many do we have right now?
Right now we have 2,500.
So we've lost 800 teachers in the last 10 years. And nobody cried. Did people cry? Did people get freaked out about that? Did you see board members like, oh my God, we're firing all these teachers, we're losing all these teachers? Nobody said anything about that. But yeah, you're gonna end up having to lose teachers because enrollment is going to go down. Enrollment is already going down. Your demographer is already telling you it's going to go down because birth rates. People are not having kids. And so you're going to end up having a problem, guys. We're going to have a real big problem. Well, no, those are all staff. That's
Exactly.
Staff. So let's look at staff.
Exactly. We lost close to 2,000.
Oh, in staff.
In staff, right. In general, in a decade.
In a decade. Nobody cried. Nobody freaked out about it. You're going to lose more. And there are other, if the economy is improving in Brownsville and you have all these jobs, SpaceX and things like that, people can go out and do other jobs if they need to. We're going to have to be serious about it, because it doesn't make any sense. Honestly, guys, think about it. It doesn't make any sense to be spending $16 million on a school that's falling apart when you got the same amount of money for selling another school. You could sell to the city if you wanted to. They're already building a park over there, right? They're building that awesome park that Linda Macias, little AOC's out there promoting and talking about it. Sell the land that's there and give it to the school district. Oliveda's there, the middle school Oliveda's there. People really like it and stuff like that. But I was kind of freaked out the fact that you had a freaking power plant or, power thing. I have no idea if that's even safe for students. I get worried about the fact that it's there. All the energy that's coming out of that energy plant, whatever that is. I don't even know what you call that thing. You know what I'm talking about, right, Frankie? Right next to PUB. There's all that energy search thing. I don't know. You sell it, make money off of it, do something, and then use that money to sell to be able to fix other schools as opposed to going into debt. But maybe to me, those are the more difficult decisions. It's easy to go out and beg from the taxpayers, to beg from the taxpayers to give them more money. That's easier to do than making a tough decision of, we probably are going to have to close these schools because this is just too expensive. And it's not going to get any better. It isn't. We're landlocked. The city of Brownsville is not going to grow. It is not growing. We've been pretty much the same amount of people in Brownsville, in the city limits of Brownsville, for the last 20 years. Have you looked at the census data to see? I remember going to city commission meetings in the middle of like 2005, 2007, where they were talking about, once we get to 200,000 residents in the city of Brownsville, we're going to lose funding for our buses. And I don't think we've surpassed 200,000. And it's been 13, well over a decade since people were talking about, 15 years at least, talking about we're going to get to 200,000. Are we at 200,000 at the city of Brownsville? I don't think we are. So anyway, let's talk about these signs, Frankie. I know you wanted to talk about that for a long time ago.
So again, people have been sending us pictures, have been posting on the page saying, hey, we're starting to see these signs and we're getting word that information regarding the bond is going to be posted on these signs. And they asked me the question, is this even legal? Because someone made an interesting point, and they said, hey, the school district can't be using funds in order to promote and try to influence the voters. They can't. So then I thought, okay, well then it has to be through either a PAC, it has to be through vendor money. But then I asked, is it legal for vendors to be putting up campaign material on district property? Is it, Roman?
I I think it's very problematic. Look, school districts, when it comes to school bonds, the way I understand it, and I'm supposed to talk to a more election expert later this afternoon. Did I? But my understanding is school districts are allowed to inform the public about the bond. They are not supposed to tell them vote yes or vote no. They can inform the public. They should be able to inform the public. But these signs, these billboards, I don't know what's going to be on them. I mean, your source is saying it's going to be telling people to vote one way or the other. I don't think they can be able to do that. I mean, now I remember there was a bond at TSC, and this was a big deal about the vote yes to the bond at TSC that they were doing many years ago. And they actually had a separate political action committee that was in charge of that. I don't recall having signs at TSC or UTB or talking about this bond on campuses. This seems very strange to me that they're going to be putting these things on school campuses for everybody to see. It kind of makes me wonder. It's like, are they going to do something this crass where they're going to say, of voting yes for the bond will provide X amount of dollars for this school? Is that what the school district is going to do? Because that seems like, I don't know. I think they're crass enough to do something like that in order so the parents and the teachers go, oh my God, they're going to put, like in Funegli, they're going to get $15.8 million to fix the school. Honey, we need to vote in favor of this bond so we can have that money for the school. Don't we care about our school? Do you think, Frankie, that's what they're going to do?
According to someone, they said that, let me read what they said, because according to them, they are under the impression that the school district will be and has been allowing these signs to be placed all over throughout the district. And let me read exactly what they said. Where is it? The district are putting up these wooden signs at the schools. It has the bond information. For the bonds, yes. This one doesn't have the information on it, but I was told it was going to have a sign to vote yes to the bond. I wonder how much money is going into all these signs. There are ones they have been seen at Egli, Villanueva, and others. Supposedly, there's an they said that they are going to be putting the signs at all the schools. Wow. What else? So essentially, this is campaign material that is going to be placed. Now, again, is this information going to be informative? Is going to say, hey, this amount of money is going to this school. But what if they put vote yes for the bond? That is where it's illegal. That is where it is wrong. Is anything going to be done about this? I just find this very, probably not. I just find this very fascinating, ladies and gentlemen, how they're forcing it down your throats. They're saying, this is what you need. Because if not, this school's gonna fail. I honestly don't place blame on this current superintendent. He has 2 years in, 3 years, 3 years so far. It is mismanagement from the district going back 20 years. What happened to the facilities committee? Aren't they keeping up to date with what is going on of them having to address these issues? Why do we let it get to a point, Roman, where it's like, we need this desperately? Why wasn't this done in phases? Why wasn't this done, there's no checks and balances, it seems. There have been schools that have closed, such as Del Castillo, Southmost, that they invested millions of dollars, months before, a year before, and then they closed it. Is it the same thing that's going to happen with these schools where, oh, we need 19 million, $50 million, $16 million, $20 million for Egley? If we're going to spend that amount of money, why don't we just build a brand new school? Because again, if nobody thinks that these repairs aren't going to be, that more repairs aren't going to be needed in the long run, might as well just start off fresh. So you mean to tell me that they are going to spend 20% of what it costs to build a brand new school, give or take, depending on inflation, depending on construction, depending on prices in today's market? It just doesn't make sense. It's kind of a dumb business decision, if you ask me.
I would agree with you on that. But as for these signs, I don't think anything will be done about it. I don't think anybody will file complaints about it. It just there's a lot of leeway that school district can do or entities can do when it comes to bond, and they get away with it. Because at the end of the day, if this was illegal, the people that would do it would be the district attorney. Do you really think the Louis Sines is going to do anything about it? No. You could file a complaint with the Texas Ethics Commission, but do they even have authority over it? Probably not. Because in order to prosecute this stuff, it has to be prosecuted, at least the way I understand it, by your local district attorney. It's not going to be filed. Now, I mean, you could file a complaint with the Texas Attorney General. I mean, Texas Attorney General currently is running for U.S. Senate. He might be interested in fighting, potential corruption at school district when it comes to these bonds and use that as political points. He might want to do that. I don't know. But the Texas Attorney General might be the only option we have as citizens to be able to complain about this stuff. As for these signs, I do find it interesting that they're willing to have these signs put up on school property. Are they going to allow candidates to do the same thing? I mean, one of the things that's going to be on the ballot in November, it's going to be the homestead exemption to raise it from $100,000 to $140,000, and that affects school districts more so than anybody else. Are they going to allow people to vote yes for that particular proposition, or is it just going to be is it just going to be these bonds? Are they going to let us tell people to have voters realize that they should vote for this because it'll benefit them, or are they going to tell voters to vote against this because that means it'll be less money for school districts? I'm curious. Are they in favor of the homestead exemption increase or decrease? The members of the school board, do they want this or not? Because again, if they want it, it means potentially less money for them, right?
How soon, Roman, does a sample ballot come out?
It might actually be out right now. It might already be there. If you go to the Cameron County Elections Department and look at their sample ballot, it might actually already be there. We're pretty darn close to early vote. It probably already is there. Patricia is saying, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Exactly. I mean, let us do it. Let's do those things. Let's allow it to happen. Put it up there. There was something that happened a few days ago. The mayor of the great city of Brownsville, our great mayor, the mayor that is based on the base of the video I saw, it seemed like he's in favor of illegal immigration. I just can't believe he is, but I was told that at this same meeting, at this same gathering, supposedly, he was telling everybody that the city was in favor of the Proposition A, the increase for the maintenance operation part of the bond. But he was very, waffly when it came to the Performing Arts Center, which I found interesting that he seemingly was in favor of one bond, but not the other. And I'm wondering why he would not necessarily be in favor of the Performing Arts Center. Is it because the Performing Arts Center is going to have extra rooms for people to have conferences potentially and be bigger than the TSC Performing Arts Center where people might be able to have conferences? Is it because the mayor doesn't want to have potentially a competition between them and the city? Maybe the city is looking to have some sort of a convention center at some point and doesn't want to see that this particular new quasi convention center, Performing Arts Center that the school district is going to build will compete with the school, with the city. Or maybe it's because they feel that they're okay with the TSC Performing Arts Center where currently the mayor of Brownsville has his State of the City addresses. He has it there, and he does want to go over and help the school district. I just find it interesting that he didn't seem as gun ho about the Performing Arts Center as much as he was for the 30 what was it, $385 million for maintenance and operation of the school district. Just found interesting.
You had mentioned on a previous show, Roman, that it would be cheaper for the school district to rent out the likes of TSC, the auditorium,
Yeah.
as compared to going out for a $75 million bond, excuse me, for the Performing Arts Center. Would you be surprised if people, because we have two, my understanding is Proposition A and Proposition B are two separate items on the ballot, one for
Right.
460, one for 75.
No.
Would
One for 385, if I'm not mistaken, and one for 75. So, one for 385 and one for 75, which adds up to $460 million.
would you be surprised if the community votes no for Proposition A of 300 plus million, but vote yes for Proposition B? Would you be surprised for that? Because again, many questions have yet to be answered. You spoke about this earlier in regards to the TRE. What happened to that money? Is that money still in a fund? Are people still being taxed for that money? There was a big issue when you had students from the arts and band and choir. They came and they were wanting, and I believe the boardroom was packed with students, and the board said, of course, yes, we want this. How could you say no to students there, right? And that passed back in 2016, 2017, give or take. Would you be surprised, Roman, if the community says give us our Performing Arts Center but says no to the facilities?
It would depend on whether it's a close election, because I don't see a split. I think it's either going to vote pass yes or pass no, or it's either going to pass or it's going to fail. The only way you have a split is if it's a close election, and I don't think it's going to be a close election. I honestly believe that the voters are going to vote in favor of both of them, because they're like, oh, we need to help the school district. It's important. We help the school district. Were you able to find the sample ballot? Did they have the sample ballot on the county website yet?
No sample ballots as of yet.
That's strange. I would have expected it by now, honestly. I don't see why they're not there yet, because early voting starts like you said, in 4 weeks on the 20th. People can request a ballot, I think, 30 days before the election. I'm actually, I would. We're 40 days from the election, aren't we? Essentially,
From
I would
election
expect
day, give or take, yeah.
I would expect it to be. Patricia, you're asking who is everybody? I don't remember. I became Will Ferrell and blanked out, so I honestly don't know.
So I personally, Roman, wouldn't be shocked if that happens. And again, is the community informed? Maybe they think, oh, it's a yes or no for both. Maybe this is a package deal. I would be shocked if I wouldn't be shocked. I apologize. I wouldn't be shocked if the Performing Arts Center does get passed, because this has been something that the board members, previous administrations, previous superintendents, they have promised this. And again, like always, BISD, empty promises. There has been this notion that, oh, look at Los Fresnos, a little ranch. They have their auditorium for their students. Why doesn't the monster that is BISD? But, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe the people say no across the board.
Maybe. I do hope that it doesn't pass. I really do. I think we've done as best as we can, at least for now, to try to show why this is a bad decision. I think there are a lot of people there were a number of people that I saw last night at the Charlie Clerk vigil that were very much against this bond. So yeah, check out YouTube. There's literally dozens of text agencies all trying to pass bonds. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it that there are people trying to pass bonds. And I don't know if I said it here on the show, but I don't remember. Maybe I did. It just seems very strange that all these school districts are trying to pass bonds right now, and it's almost so that they can prevent the state from taking over schools, and making it one straight up the state controls the schools in the entire state. And maybe that's why they're doing it, to make it so expensive that the state can't do that. I don't know. Um, Austin wanted. I think you're right on that, Toker. But was that earlier this year? Or is that in November? I think you're right. They were asking for a lot of money, but it's not just them. It's also in Houston, if I'm not mistaken, they wanted a bond. I mean, it's just insane the amount of money that they want for these schools. And they're in prime real estate locations. Sell, make some money. And if you're losing enrollment, you're not going to make it packed. You're not going to make packed schools by eliminating some of these schools. But yeah. Somebody was asking, are we going to go to that meeting, that state of the district thing? I don't know. It might be more expensive. It might cost you money to attend, right? The state of the city stuff, don't you have to buy a ticket? Frankie?
Usually for the state of the city, I think it's like $100 or $150 or possibly more. Mainly, big vendors, they're the ones that buy up these tables and drop thousands of dollars for these events. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time that I could remember that the school district has had something like this. And look, we welcome this. We want the superintendent to have that open dialogue. Because again, he always defers to, let me have this one answered. Let me have this one answered. But what is he going to say, Roman? Is the sole focus going to be on this bond? We already heard him talk on Captain Bob. We already heard him on Tino Villarreal. Is it going to be the same thing? It's going to sound like a broken violin, isn't it? In my opinion,
it might. I mean, I would assume that if they're going to do this, it's going to be more like videos and promoting how awesome the school district is, and showing all these kids that are active doing XYZ. And that way it was, that way they can, again, propaganda. It's no different. I mean, over here, Otoko's talking about fascism. I mean, this is like propaganda from the state, because they're part of the state, in a way. The state is not the state of Texas, but, the state government, no way of saying government. They're going to do all this propaganda, no different than what you would get in the 1930s Italy.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I kind of freaked out when somebody sent it to me. I was like, oh, interesting. But again, the main topic of discussion is going to be the bond, and how there is going to be a need for the community, that the community will benefit from this. But in reality, whenever you ask the common Joe, the common person that's not involved in politics, and if you ask them, do you want your property taxes to increase? I would dare say that 7, 8 out of 10 of them would say, no, I already pay enough. I could barely manage with what I have, and they want me to pay even more. That's why I feel sincerely that this bond won't pass. I honestly think that it is those educated people, those people that will ultimately benefit from this handsomely, that it is in their best interest for these bonds to pass. To the average Joe, they could care less, because BISD has had a bad track record. BISD is losing students. So what? You want a bailout? Is that what you want? Based on your track record, it's not a good thing. That's why I think that these people will not vote for it.
But how high is turnout going to be? I mean, Frankie, how in the last constitutional amendment election in November of 2023? Yeah, November 2023. How many people voted in Cameron County? And then we can probably just cut it in half and say 50% of those people live in the city of Brownsville and BISD. How many people voted in 2023? And we can have an idea. I would argue it's going to be fewer people than voted in the mayor election this last go around, and in this last city election. Is it going to be that? And remember, BISD is, terms of population and territory, is smaller than the city of Brownsville. How many people are really going to vote? And when you think about that, you're going to expect there's going to be a higher percentage of people that really, really want this bond. The friends of the politicos at BISD, all the people at the Glass Palace that actually live in the city of Brownsville. I mean, BISD, I don't know. Can the superintendent even vote in favor of this particular bond? I mean, does he even live in BISD? I don't know. But maybe their friends, their compadres, their buddies are gonna all vote in favor of it. And you have that. How many of the everyday voters going to come out and vote in a constitutional amendment election? No, where it's you're not voting for somebody, you're voting for words. It's just I mean,
Yeah.
especially the elderly who are on fixed income. I agree, Patricia. It's going to be very. I mean, they're going to argue. Well, they don't really pay a lot of taxes because their taxes are frozen. Roman and Frankie, how dare you get that bad information? Yeah, but it's not just about that, guys. Remember, just when you have a tax increase on property, it doesn't just affect your properties. It affects your rent if you're renting a house, because there's some elderly people that don't, live, in their own homes, so they don't pay taxes. Their rent might go up. Let's say they're in part of Section 8 or housing. Their percentage of the amount of money they're going to pay for housing might go up because the rent goes up, and you have a higher responsibility as renting that house. Or let's say you go to HEB or Walmart, or you want to go down the street to your friendly little taqueria, to buy your barbacoa and your tortillas or your panaderia. Like, let's say you just want to treat yourself on the weekend. Well, guess what? Their rent's gonna go. Their property taxes are gonna go up because they don't have homestead exemptions. Their property taxes are gonna go up there, and that means their prices are gonna go up. They might not be able to afford that cup of coffee that the city of Brownsville, for example, was talking about when they wanted to raise taxes. So don't just assume that these taxes are only going to affect people who pay the taxes. It's going to affect other people, where you buy your food, where your McDonald's prices may go up. Maybe they won't go up because McDonald's, those are franchise, but because they're going to have to keep it at a certain price. But maybe your favorite restaurant, maybe your favorite fish place, your favorite Italian Asian place, like Lotus or Chopsticks or Saucy's, or the Oyster Bar, Vermilion or Spanky's, or any of these other places that are out there that are locally owned. I mean, they're going to have to raise their prices because their taxes are going to go up. Or let's say they rent their rents are going to go up. Or their light bill. I don't know about the light bill. I don't know if the light bill will actually go up. I don't know. You're already, guys. Don't forget. The city of Brownsville is going to force you, like a bunch of communists, not fascist communists, force you to recycle, and you're going to have to be paying $5 and 36 cents a month for your little trash can. You're going to increase. You're going to have to pay that. You're going to have to pay that every single month on top of the tax increase that BISD is demanding from you. Guys, things are going to go up in expenses because of these things. So let's look. How many people voted in the last constitutional amendment thing?
November 2 years ago, November 2023, Proposition A BISD had 7,000.
There you go. So do you think 7,000 people are going to come out to vote? That was in 2023. That was for the voter approved tax rate election. So there you go. So there'll probably be only 7,000 people who are going to vote. Maybe 8,000. Maybe they'll be able to convince more people to come out to vote, and they'll get to 8,000 voters. So those are the people that are going to decide. So if you don't want your taxes to go up, if you don't want the cost of living to go up, like your restaurant food to go up or your rent to go up, you don't want those things because you think, like us, that it makes no sense to be paying. I mean, look at some of the videos of these schools that are dilapidated. I'm not saying that these schools are don't deserve to be repaired. I mean, I'm not saying that these schools are in tip-top shape. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it makes absolutely no sense to be spending nearly $16 million to repair a school that is falling apart as much as it is. Makes absolutely no sense. None whatsoever. And they're going to leave it up to 8,000 people who are probably going to come out to vote. 7,000 people are going to come out to vote, one way or the other. So, but if you would believe like us, say, hey, this doesn't make any sense, go for it. Vote against this. And I don't think this is like a topic we're talking at least once a week. Vote against this bond. Make sure people understand that it's a bad thing. And I get it. It's for the children. You don't want to seem like an evil bastard. I mean, people are going to vilify me and Frankie for being against it. You hate the children. No, we don't hate the children. We love the children. We want what's better for them. But we think that it makes no sense for people right now, for students right now to be at Egley. It's falling apart as much as it is. Why are students even there? Why hasn't the city gone in there and condemn it? It's that horrible. I mean, really, they condemn properties all the time, don't they? In the city that people, the old people live in, that are falling apart, they condemn it. So they put a lien on it. Why hasn't the city gone in there? Like, hey, why do we have so many students at these schools? They're falling apart, guys. It's horrible. What's wrong with you? You're smirking, Frankie. Why are you smirking?
Somebody's messaging me. Again, things
Hey, share what they're sending you. You're smirking. I want to smirk too.
Again, things to look out for, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever you go drop off your loved one, are you starting to see these signs? What material will be on these signs? Is it going to be informative to let you know how much money, if the bond passes, will be spent on this, on that particular school? It's going to be interesting. Again, we are already 4 or 5 weeks away from election day, and again, we'll continue to keep on informing our community in regards to this. We get criticized a lot for being the source of misinformation. What is the super doing? Were you ever aware that this bond is going to equate to $1 billion? No. Why not? Because it's not in their best interest to let you know. Did you know that the superintendent said that if this bond get passed, that they're still going to need another bond in 8 to 10 years? Did you know about that? If not, why not? Why aren't they letting the public know about this? Was this something that he accidentally let slip up? Because in my mind, Roman, the best thing to say is we need this bond passed. Be quiet about what we need down the road. Let's focus on this. But whenever you give that information to someone like us, we're going to say, whoa, 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 whoa. So this $461 billion bond is not going to be sufficient. We're going to need to go out for more money. Really? To me, that is why I'll continue to advocate and continue to let my community members know to vote no on this BISD bond of $1 billion.
You know, Frankie, if you look at how much money they're spending on Egley, it's the same amount of money they're spending to repair Pace. And didn't you report that Pace was one of the schools that they're considering closing? I mean, Pace is a high school. It's a lot bigger than Egley. A lot ginormous compared to Egley. They're spending roughly the same amount of money at Egley Elementary that they're spending to fix Pace. That's strange, don't you think? That they're spending the same amount of money that they're spending at a high school? Again, am I wrong? Is this just wrong that they're just doing this, that they want to spend the amount of money? I mean, at Lopez High School, Lopez is newer than Pace. They're spending more money to repair Lopez than they are Pace. Why? That's insane. Hannah, you want to know how much they're spending on Hannah? Guys, Hannah, they're spending $36 million to fix Hannah. Why are they spending $36 million to fix Hannah? I mean, guys, how old is Hannah? $36 million is because all the like Patricia is saying that there's so many, the compadres are that work at Hannah. $36 million at Hannah that they want to fix. That's insane. I'm gonna look at another one. I'm just curious. Let's see how much they're gonna be spending at Porter and the other ones that they have at Porter.
Just for the record, my source did not confirm that Pace was going to be closed down. What they did say was that their enrollment right now is around 600 students, where they should be at around 1,000. So could that potentially be one of the schools that will be closing in the very near future? perhaps, but just for the record,
Oh, okay.
I did
And
not, I did
also,
not
okay, if
confirm.
you want to do for the record too, right now Pace High School doesn't have 600 students. It's actually more like 1,600 students. I don't know where that number is coming from. That it's that many, but it's 1,600 students. That's what they have. It's not 600. So maybe your source is wrong on that as well. But it's 1,600 people, and it's a little bit more than Porter. I think Porter is like at 1,580 students or something, and Pace is like at 1,640 students, something like that. But I will say at Porter, they're spending nearly $38 million to fix. Why is Porter, which is the same age as Pace, needing that amount of money? What was this? I mean, my bigger question is it just that they're spending all this money to fix it? That's how much damage has been done to these schools in that period of time. What the hell were the previous school board members doing? You have Minerva Peña. How long has she been on the freaking school board? Like 20 freaking years? She's been there for like it seemed like forever. And she's all about Porter. She's all about being a Porter Bell. And I love Porter. You let Porter fall apart so much that it's going to need $38 million to fix. And Pace, which is the same age, only needs only. I'm going to say only. I can't believe I'm using the word only. They need $60 million to fix. They're the same age. What the hell are you people doing at the school district, Minerva Peña? By the way, she's against the bond, so kudos to you on that. But that's insane. That's crazy. I mean, I'm just using their numbers. That's crazy. Oh, let's go to veterans. Let's see how much they need. Which, by the way, it's relatively new, right? Veterans is the newest high school. They only need $8 million. Oh, close to $9. $8.7 million. They need $8.7 million to fix their school. They're, again, practically new. For all intents and purposes, new. How old is veterans? When did veterans come into being? Sorry, my little. That's nuts. That's nuts, guys. Oh well, they are pocketing. I don't know if they're pocketing the money. I honestly don't know. But I'm very concerned. All right, somebody is commenting. Maria, I can't read it. Sorry, it's really small. Oh, the AC at the Fine Arts at Porter hasn't been working since summer band. I'm in July. And how new is the Fine Arts building? Isn't it relatively new? Shouldn't it still be covered under warranty? Like, honestly, guys, they spent $60 million to build that school. It don't need anything. If you talk about veterans, yeah, I would assume so. But that Fine Arts building where they do the drama and the band and stuff like that they just built, shouldn't that be under warranty still? Like, shouldn't it be that the AC is not working since the summer? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe maybe I'm completely wrong and I don't know anything and I'm just spreading misinformation. But it just seems to me that there should be some sort of warranty, some sort of insurance for that building, considering that particular building is not that old. Not that old. I want to say that building at the Fine Arts building was built within the last 5 years. I mean, you have, I mean, if the AC is not working in your house and it doesn't, you get a warranty for your AC. Automatically comes with it, right? Most of it's covered under warranty. Usually it's 10 years. And the AC at the Fine Arts building at Porter, according to Maria Martinez, I'm going to take you at your word, Maria. It hasn't been working since the summer. Cover it. Go to your insurance and fix it. You don't need to go to a bond to fix it. You already did it. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah, there's a lot of corruption. Nobody wants to say it. There's a lot of corruption. Do these schools need all that done? Possibly not. Again, if you give these people the opportunity, they're going to take us to the cleaners. And if you're okay with that, then vote yes for it. But the reality is that there has been mismanagement of epic proportions at this school at the school district for far too long. BISD just passed one of the biggest budgets that it's ever had, little north of $600 million. It is no doubt in everyone's mind that it is apparent that this current administration, former board members, they haven't managed well. And now they're asking you, the voter, to pay more taxes to get them out of this pickle. In my opinion, whatever they do, ladies and gentlemen, they could throw $1 trillion to BISD. It's not going to fix the problem of us losing students. We can't compete with the charter schools. IDEA has become the new player in this game. That's what still boggles my mind, that these people, they want to throw money at something, at a ship that is sinking. Martinez says they keep telling them that the parts are delayed, and then another, they say, oh, we had to switch vendors. Like what the hell, our kids? I know because I've been in there. So Porter is hot.
It's insane. The runaround. And I'm sorry, that's the mismanagement of our school district. I mean, maybe our lawyers need to get involved and say, hey, we're going to file a lawsuit against you people for not fixing the thing. It's our kids, right? Like you said, it's our kids. Do every trick in the book to be able to get this stuff fixed, done. And if you have to, fix it on your own, sue the crap out of your vendor or the warranty people if you have to. I mean, just like, you're going to pay us back for this stuff. I mean, because our kids shouldn't be suffering the heat. They shouldn't, especially if it's under warranty. But it's just insane that this is happening. Oh, a Toker is saying there's little to blame in never paying the hundreds of school. Why? They set the tax rate. Toker, they're the ones who set the tax rate. It's not Austin who sets the tax rate. They can make a decision if they want to raise taxes, right? It's their determination if they want to do it. But they don't want to. They don't want to necessarily raise taxes too much, because then it's politically wrong and bad for them. If when they went to the VAT thing, they could have raised the taxes even more than they did. And it would have been us to be able to approve it. Why didn't they do it? So yes, there's a lot, and there's not a little to blame in paying the hundreds of school board members. There's a lot to blame on them, because they do have local control right now. And if you don't want to blame them, if you want to blame the state, well, then let's have the state take it over. Why not? So we don't have to deal with these people and giving them their little perks and having them be part of TASB and having to get all the training and to be able to teach, to run the school districts. Let's save that money, not have to worry about that stuff. Everyone at Patricia's saying everyone gets to BISD and everything just goes down the ladder. Maybe they can't sue because that's the compadre's company. Boss. That's not cool. If you want to talk a little bit about the news that's going on nationally, well, we can, if you don't mind. President Trump spoke at the UN. Apparently, the Secret Service has stopped some sort of a potential telecom attack or something there. They've been talking about Kamala's book that she's releasing today, and people are not happy about it. You have some Democrats calling it her burn book. People are not necessarily believing Kamala's excuse that she didn't go with Pete Buttigieg or whatever. I don't know how you pronounce that guy's last name. That seems to be on the news. And right now, Fox is particularly talking about how Turning Points USA had a ginormous rally at the University of Minnesota on Monday. It was packed house. And so it was their first event on a campus since Charlie Kirk passed away.
Roman, last
not passed away, was murdered, assassinated.
Roman, last words before we conclude today's show.
Vote no in this bond. We'll talk more about it. It'd be great. Maria, please help our kids get the AC fixed for Fine Arts Department band. Kids, especially, they feel the heat when they need it for rehearsal. All I can do is promote what you're saying, agree with you, fight it, and talk about how we need to make sure that they fight it all over there. Bruh, I thought it was a cookbook. Word salad.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, there is a State of the District that the superintendent will be having October the 9th. What is he going to say? Again, he is going to focus on the bond. Has he been doing a good job on coming out on Captain Bob, on Tino Villarreal? He hasn't been too convincing. Is that going to sway the voter? Has his information been enough to make you vote no? Hernandez says no. Martinez, I think Enrique Martinez also posted earlier, no. In my opinion, the BISD ship is sinking. We need to do a better job of cutting our losses now. There is no chance for us to stop the the losing of students at a very rapid pace. If we throw money, we're still going to continue to lose students. And what is that going to do? Eventually, we're going to close even more schools than is needed. Vote no on November the 4th. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Good Morning Brownsville. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, you can find us under Frankie Olivo TV. Have a good Tuesday. Peace.